There's unfortunately another Alexa Bliss update that just came out and doesn't look good, so we'll see what's up there. We'll also check out what's new for Dominik Mysterio, why it's 6, and much more. Starting things off with another significant update for Alexa Bliss and her status. It's been a roller coaster of a week for Alexa Bliss fans that have been monitoring her current chaotic situation with the company. They had her set for a January 13th return on Raw to jumpstart a major program with the Wyatt Six. But that's when a little contract negotiation broke out that eventually turned into this major contract dispute that's still happening in current day. So where are the negotiations at right now for Alexa Bliss, and are things looking good for her? Well, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter, things are looking extremely doubtful for Alexa's status. Their report claims that no progress has been made with the negotiations between Alexa and the company. They're not even close to being on the same page and remain extremely far apart in what they both want. No side is attempting to meet the other somewhere in the middle, so it's continuing this stalemate. The reports goes on to claim that Alexa and the company remain so far apart that people around the situation are starting to believe that a new deal for Alexa Bliss will never be reached. So definitely not the news Alexa Bliss fans want to hear at all. Alexa's return was up there as one of the most highly anticipated returns of the year. So to go from being one of the most hyped up returns to her now potentially never stepping foot inside that ring again, that does definitely hurt. Like we briefly touched on in the previous Alexa updates, it looks like this contract dispute is going to come down to who needs who more. From the company's perspective, their women's division is stacked enough on every level that, yes, technically speaking, maybe they don't need Alexa Bliss to be the face of the women's division and carry it. They don't need her in that perspective anymore. But where the company does desperately kind of need Alexa at is the position of being front and center of the Wyatt Six. There's the weak spot that they really need her at. The Wyatt Six had an incredible return rollout in mid-2024. It gave Bray Wyatt fans something to get hyped up about and look forward to after his horrific and unexpected passing. Despite Bray no longer being there, the teasers and everything about the rollout for the Wyatt Six felt like it had Bray's touch on it, so the hype was insane. Then we saw their first appearance in June, and it absolutely lived up to the hype. Their arrival could not have been any better than what they did with them on the night of their return. And then in the weeks after that, Bo Dallas was phenomenal in his little segments. He was interviewing himself, interviewing the other members, and it was all going so well there for a bit. But the Chad Gable feud didn't feel that satisfying. It didn't feel like Chad Gable even learned a lesson, because sure, he lost American Alpha, but he gained a new family. So what did that feud with the Wyatt Six really accomplish there? And then you had the feud with the Final Testament, which did seem like it had some potential there for a while, but after it just abruptly ended, you can't help but wonder what was the purpose of that feud either. So the Wyatt Six on paper and as a concept is outstanding, but 2 lackluster feuds in 7 months, and it's starting to take a little hit on the hype around them. It feels like most things they do are lacking purpose and proper direction. And now you add on the fact that they've been mysteriously missing from television for going on 2 months now, and that adds to the speculation that the Wyatts are most likely lost in the shuffle at the moment. And who could save the group, reestablish the hype and direction for them? The answer is Alexa Bliss. When it comes to the question of what does the company need Alexa for, the answer is clearly to save the Wyatt Six and put them back on track. Alexa is a strong enough character to lead the faction and help get them back to the level of hype they had last year. The company can continue to roll the Wyatt Six out like the way they've been doing lately, but without that proper sense of direction and story, the group unfortunately is going to fizzle out completely. But adding that Alexa Bliss program into the fold may really extend the Wyatt Six lifetime for a decent amount of time. So when it comes to what does the company desperately need Alexa Bliss for, that's the answer right there. And it's not confirmed, just speculation, but maybe that's what started this entire contract dispute in the first place. Maybe Alexa thought she was returning into a smaller role, but once Alexa's camp saw that this was going to be a more prominent role and how they really desperately needed Alexa for this big story, maybe that's when Alexa's camp put the hold on everything and requested that Alexa be properly compensated for this prominent role. And when the company backed off, that created the situation we see right now. It seems like they wanted to use Alexa in this major role on a much cheaper price tag. But when Alexa's side wanted compensation that matches the big role they were going to give Alexa, that's when everything fell apart. It's unfortunate, but that's just business. and how contract disputes work. No matter what the situation is, whatever company that's making the deal is always going to want to dish out a deal that's both friendly and reasonable to their pocket. But on the flip side, the person that's on the receiving end of that contract is always going to want to be properly compensated for their hard work and effort. So that's where this situation is at right now. Who really needs each other more and will fold first? Alexa has lightly referenced the dispute a few more times over the last few days, and she appears to be firm in where she stands in this whole situation. Alexa posed for a picture with her daughter and said that if anyone needs her, she's going to be there for a while, which is a potential reference to the dispute, with Alexa claiming that she expects to remain home for a decent while. And then you had the scary new report of individuals close to the situation thinking that a new deal will not ever be successfully reached for Alexa Bliss. So if the company has the Wyatts return and finds a way to take them in a strong direction without Alexa Bliss, maybe that settles that issue for them and they wouldn't feel like they need her after that. So with the feeling being that Alexa may never reach a new deal with WWE, this has fans instantly looking the other way. If Alexa Bliss still wants to continue her wrestling career, surely AEW will take her in and put her back inside the wrestling ring. It's crazy and sounds hard to believe, but with the way these reports are talking, it seems like we got a better shot of seeing Alexa Bliss in an AEW ring than we do of seeing her inside the WWE ring again. Dominik Mysterio has finally provided a big piece of story context that had all of us scratching our heads last month, so let's get into that. After Rhea Ripley won the title from Liv Morgan on Raw in January, Dominik stepped foot in the ring to try and hug Rhea Ripley. It was an extremely weird move that didn't really fit into the story and had fans confused. According to Dominik Mysterio himself, he claims that he had a plan in place to go in for the hug on Rhea, but snatch the women's world title out of her hands at the last second and give it back to Liv before running away together. Dominik said that they didn't give the plan much thought past that point, but that they were going to figure it out along the way. That wasn't the only piece of news for Dominik and Rhea Ripley. The both of them were used in a trailer together to promote the new intergender matches in the company's new 2K25 video game. Rhea Ripley versus Dominik Mysterio was a intergender dream match that fans really wanted to see a few months ago. The company really doesn't do those matches on television anymore, but it looks like the selling point is that if you want to see Rhea versus Dominik take place, it's now possible within the video game world.
But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.